Ìwọ ni arákùnrin tí wọ́n pè ní Anikulapo.
Orúkọ mi kì í ṣe Anikulapo. Saro lórúkọ mi. Aṣòfin ni mò ń hù.
Let us talk about Anikulapo. Hey, hi. I feel like I'm being super dramatic with this mic, but hey, hi, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. If you're just stopping by, hi, what's up? My name is Ronke Suyi. On this channel, I review movies, I talk about web series, TV shows, I make teaser, trailer reaction videos, I do vlogs sometimes, so feel free to explore the channel. Check out the channel. I'm sure you'll find something that interests you on here. And in case you're a returning subscriber, returning viewer that is yet to subscribe, I welcome back to the channel. I love that you keep coming back to check out what I'm up to on this space. And in today's video, we're talking about Anikulapo, and we're going to be going into every juicy part of this film. So just in case you're yet to see the film, spoiler alert, you might want to pause this video and go check out the movie on Netflix. If you don't mind watching this spoiler-filled review, then you can go ahead, but make sure to watch the film because it's worth it. I mean, I'm laying it all out there, like it is worth your time. It is worth your time. And this movie was for like 2 hours and 16 minutes, yeah, thereabout, but it's worth every minute. So this movie is a timepiece, meaning it tells the story of what had happened in the past, or it was produced, it was inspired by an event or by a story or by a book. And I'm not sure, right now I don't know if it was inspired by a book, but I feel like it tells the story of what had happened in the past, because it was stated that this movie is a timepiece. So this movie was centered, or the storyline of this film was centered around Oyo State. So, and if you know Kunle Afolayan's movie, you know him to be very detailed when it comes to following the major plot of his film up. I'm talking about the fact that, okay, this movie is centered around Oyo State. You could tell that even his film studio that was used to film most of the parts or most of the scenes in this film, they were accurate at depicting the Oyo culture, the Oyo land, and their value. We saw the characters with tribal mark, and we know that tribal mark is something that is conversant with the Oyo people. We saw their languages, and when I saw them, when someone was having a meal in this film, I saw them having amala and efo or something. And we know amala is like a soup that is known with the Oyo people. If you travel to Oyo, like they're serving you amala the next minute. So just like, I mean, I love the details. I love the attention to details. And I mean, we're talking about Kunle Afolayan here. We're talking about him. So trust him to do a fantastic job when it comes to writing the script and writing the film to be very relatable and very believable. So now on to what went down in this film. First of all, let us talk about the relationship that happened between Sola Sobowale's character with Kunle Remi's character, which Kunle Remi's character was Saro, the major character in this film. They had supporting characters like Sola Sobowale, we had Bimbo Ademoye, we had zealous, we had Salami. We had very big actors, like prominent Yoruba actors in this film, and it was really good. It felt really nice to see them in this film. I liked the fact that Kunle Afolayan brought them into this film, because these are the faces that are known in Nigerian industry, like in the Nollywood industry, and most especially the Yoruba. Like if you're talking about Yoruba film from way back, you're definitely going to be talking about Ogogo. That's Taiwo Hassan. You're talking about Dele Odule. You're talking about Yinka Quadri. I was just like, yeah, spot on. These people, I mean, if you're talking about an important time in a Yoruba land, then these people have to be in this film, because best to play these characters, if not them. So yeah, I digress. So let's talk about that relationship that happened between Sola Sobowale's character with Saro, that's Kunle Remi's character. At first, when I saw that character, I was just like, okay, let's keep there's something I want to say that I don't want to say now, but we saw how that whole scenario panned out and how that relationship went. Take it from the top. Saro happened to be a man that went, we don't know where he was coming from, but he just happened to be on a journey, and he was finding greener pastures, and he sort of found himself in this town called Gbogan. It's a town in Oyo State. Found himself in Gbogan. He met Sola Sobowale's character, who is part of the king's advisors, like the people that sit with the king, the Yalodi and all that, people that advise the king. She's part of them. She's prominent, she's rich, she has the money, she has the influence. So she rumor has it that she would usually lure young men into her side, have a relationship with them, use them as slave, more like. But I didn't see that slave part in how she treated Saro. It just felt like she didn't want to make things official with Saro. She didn't want to make things serious with him. But I feel like she made, like, how would I put it, like she fulfilled her own end of the deal, that you work for me, I pay you daily, you set up yourself, you set up your own life, and she delivered 100%. But Saro, being the man that he is, he wanted something more. He wanted to be official. He wanted to be, he wanted to be a one and only, and that was where Mr. Macaroni's character came in to tell him, oh, she's this is how she mingles with men and stuff like that. I feel like I'm giving too much at this point. So, one thing led to another. Saro established himself. One thing led to another, and Saro met Bimbo Ademoye's character, who happened to be the youngest queen in the king's palace. The king character was played by Taiwo Asandat, popularly known as Ogogo. She was his favorite, but she had issues with the other women, the older wives in the house, because she has not been able to bear kids for the man since she got married to him at the age of 15. And as the time this film took off, and with the age we can try to link her up with, it looked like she was in her late 20s, and yet she was still unable to bear kids for the king. So she had this not so good relationship with her older wives. She even got poisoned at some point, and then she met Sarah. She felt like, oh, I have met this dashing looking man. I feel like if I was given a chance to get married at my own time and pace, this would have been someone I would go for. And then one thing led to another, and then they started this romantic relationship, and before we knew it, the whole thing leaked, because one of the older wife's daughter had a feeling for Saro, and then she found out that Saro was sleeping with the king's youngest yet favorite wife, and she blew the whistle, everything gassed out, and Saro was killed. So because of this love that Bimbo Ademoye's character, that's Olori Ayaba Arolake, yes, because of the love she had developed for him, she was there with him even when he died. She was there with him. And then there's this myth that this movie was written on, that when in the olden days, when people die, they don't bury the dead. In Yoruba land, they don't bury the dead, like they don't dig the floor to bury the dead. They just put their bodies in a certain forest for it to decay, and they just leave things to be like that. And if it happens that the person that died is not supposed to have died at that point, if it wasn't time for that person to die, there's this certain spirit or this bird or this eagle that would come and revive the person to life. And if it happens that the person that died was supposed to die at that point, if it happens that was the person's appointed time to die, there will be no revival. So because it wasn't Saro's time to die, I don't know why that eagle came to do whatever I wanted to do to Saro. If it wasn't Saro's appointed, if it was actually Saro's appointed time to die, because the bird kept saying to Saro that you're supposed to be dead, go back, because he came back to life, and Bimbo Ademoye's character was there. But whilst that was going on, she snatched something from the bird or from the spirit, and it felt like that was his power to revive people. So she hid this thing and then escaped with Saro's thing she stole from the eagle. She placed it in Saro's hand, because women, once we love like this, that's the end. She placed it in Saro's hand, and this gave Saro an upper edge as human to revive people. And he became greedy, because instead of reviving people with this thing that you really didn't necessarily work for it, he started billing people, he started getting rewards. Automatically, when these people, because they moved into another town, they went far away from this Gbongan town into the town of Ojumo. because he was reviving the dead, he was helping people bring back their dead to life. They appreciated him normal, but this guy became entitled, he became greedy and started asking for things as payment for bringing back the dead. And that was when I started to smell a fish, because I was just like, if this power was supposed to revive only the dead that died at a time that wasn't supposed to, okay, let me rephrase, because if this power was supposed to revive a person that died at the wrong time, he started using it to revive just anybody. Because there was a time he even revived a very old woman, and she told him that, why did you do this? Who sent you a message? She told her people she wanted to die, she wanted to go. That was when I felt like, okay, this guy's going to do something wrong. Because now he's not just reviving those that died when they shouldn't have died, but he started reviving those, just anybody, both people that it's their time and both people that it's not their time. So that's when I felt like, okay, this might have a repercussion. But it didn't get any better for him because he had agreed to it. And that was where his downfall came. Let me take you back to the beginning of this review where I talked about the fact that Ayaba Arolake was the fourth wife, the youngest wife, and she had 3 older wives, like in front here. So, okay, it is my pleasure to inform you that at the end of this film, Arolake ended up being the older wife, and then Saro married 3 other wives after her. Like, it's the audacity for me with this man. I was just like, it's the audacity. Like, I feel like the moment you know a woman old or she is the major brain behind your success, don't mess with her. Don't even think of it. Because this person that knows your source can as well ruin you. And that was exactly what she did to him. But even before she got to that point of making a decision to ruin him, she had taken in a lot of BS from him. I feel like this moment, I feel like I'm doing this review in depth because I really want us to have this conversation. Like, it's the audacity of men. I was just like, I did not see that change in him happen. I did not see it happen. And then it was his last request for me in order to bring that dead. That's where I'm not going to talk about much. I was just like, who would have thought that this man would have the audacity to treat Arolake like that, knowing where they are coming from, knowing how much she had to leave behind to be with a low-life man like you. And then she made you who you are, then now you feel like, oh, she's barren. You didn't even think of having a proper conversation with her before impregnating somebody else and starting up a family. Like, it's just how cruel the art of man can be. But I love this movie overall. I don't even have any issues with the film. I feel like the movie was spot on. The storytelling was fantastic. I mean, when you start the film, you don't know where it's leading to. You don't expect some of the things that happen. It's coming. The movie takes you on a journey. As in, when you get to the end, you know that you've been watching a film. Like the storytelling was just top notch. It was well done. You feel like you've been on a journey with the writer of the film and all that. So if you're yet to see Anikulapo, please go ahead, do it. And I heard that Kunle Afolayan, most of the scenes or most of the setup, like the palace setup happened to be like his film studio, something similar to what Tyler Perry has, you know, with the oval, with every, like the studio he uses in making his film, the way they shoot different scenes. I heard that Kunle Afolayan has something similar to that, or that's what he's working on, and but his is more traditional, more African, and that's just a mind-blowing thing. It's a huge step, and it's such a great achievement. So if you're yet to see Anikulapo, I mean, what are you waiting for? And yes, how can I forget the biggest scene that caused a controversy on Twitter? About the scene where, if you know that scene, drop a comment in the comment section. Like, did that really happen? Did they really shoot that scene? At first, people are speculating that they used mannequin. So people are saying, oh, she really acted that scene. I don't even know what to think. So people even dwelled on that scene so much. But I saw it once, I was just like, it could be either of the two. It could have been worked on, or it could have been real. But I just don't want to think about it too much. But if that was real, so yeah, but I feel like every actor brought in their A game. Kunle and Bimbo Ademoye are a perfect match. Like their character had this chemistry. It was easy, it was good. There was this beautiful sync between them. I loved it. And yes, like you all already know, Bimbo Ademoye is my fave. So, I mean, it was a breath of fresh air seeing her on this project. I enjoyed every bit of her acting. I feel like she deserves more flowers than she's getting. Yes, more recognition. And I hope this movie, you know, does that for her. It gives her and it pushes her more into limelight. Yeah. So if you enjoyed this review, please make sure to leave a comment, sure to like. It helps YouTube to know that, okay, I enjoyed this review. I would really love you to refer it to other people so they can watch it as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're yet to. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. Check out my other videos, and I'd love to see you in my next one. Until then, make sure to remain happy because you owe it to yourself. Bye.